beach because it rained. And now the sand is cold. There's a rainbow. Welcome back to Walk on Wednesday. I'm sure you missed me last week. Last week we had people under the weather, people as in my children, at home. And so it's just been figuring out life, right? And all of that. But today we are going to go ahead and get into Walk on Wednesday, and we're talking about peace. Yep, peace. And what it means to have peace and how we acquire peace and what's been on my mind when it comes to peace. So there's a lot going on in our world. Needless to say, I don't need to say it. It's a whole mess out there. But I was thinking today about how peace means different things to different people. For instance, when I walk through the door, if my living room is clean and I can walk through into my kitchen, I feel peace. Now, that doesn't bother my husband. He doesn't care if the living room's a mess or not. But like for me, when I walk through the door, I like to just walk into a semi-clean environment, right? That brings me peace. Otherwise, I feel a little chaotic. That doesn't bother him. For him, if he's working, he likes to work in complete silence. That gives him peace at work. I'm opposite. I need to have noise. I have to have something to get me going because I'm going to be too bored, back when I had a job. But it's interesting because what peace means to me might not be what peace means to you. For instance, if you know me, I recently quit my job to start my own at-home business and to be home with my kids, really. And I have not felt, I don't want to cry about it because it's just so amazing. I have not felt such a sense of peace in mothering as I have since I've left work. And getting ready to leave, right? I was telling different people that I knew at work, hey, I'm quitting, like, ooh. And it seemed like such a big deal because I worked for the government. A lot of people have tried to get into the government, including close friends of mine for years and years and years and never got in. So it just seemed crazy, right? That I would leave this place that everyone wants to work at, or at least everyone I know wants to work at. Maybe you don't want to, but and but what brought me peace was actually leaving that environment and actually taking a step of faith. Now there's been, and you guys know it's a journey, who just quits their job, right? Who is an adult who has 3 young kids that just I'm done. Me, I mean, I have a plan, like I'm working on the plan's not in fruition, but I was like, gotta go. And peace for my coworkers, not all my coworkers, but for the ones who were telling me, are you sure you should stay, was staying at work. Wasn't going to do it for me. Ironically, Rafi woke up from his nap and I had to go grab him. But look, we're talking about peace. What brings him peace is cuddling with mom, being in my arms. Sometimes he still is nursing. I know he's a big boy. I don't know how to stop. Leave me tips in the comments. But what brings him peace is being held, right? So we all have different things that bring us peace. But when it comes down to like how you feel peace in your everyday life and like what disrupts it. So maybe it's like your routine gets thrown off, or financial stresses, I think, affect everyone right now. How do you have peace in like unsure circumstances and scenarios? I send my kids to school every day and I have peace over it. There's days that are harder than others. This is a broken world. It's scary to let your kids go. But it comes down to like, who are you trusting and what are you trusting to have your peace? If you're trusting, so like for instance, I was saying that I have peace when I walk through the door, my house is clean, right? I trust that if I do that, I know that my day is going to be better when I come home from whatever I'm doing if I clean my house first. My husband has peace when he does not have music or interruptions during work. I'm the opposite. I like a little bit of noise. But in my everyday life, what brings me peace when there's the big problems like money, like security, like home, like I would love to buy a new home. Who's going to buy a new home with it? Like you just left your job. Watch God do it. It comes down to who you're trusting, right? And also understanding that in your journey, sometimes you have to listen to what God is telling you to do and what is going to bring you peace and what your calling is. If we listen to the outside noise, it can distract you from what you need to be doing. Like there were so many people who told me, Britt, I hope it works out for you, like in a snarky way, like, Are you sure you want to do this? No, 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 don't do this. The kids are only little for like such a little bit of time. It'll get easier in a couple years. And I was like, it's so funny because to them, they were thinking like, well, your kids are only little for, 1 to 5, like 5 years, right? So just grind it out. And then once they're in school, it'll be easier for you to work. And I felt just the opposite. Like, well, if my kids are only little for this span of time, I want to be in that time. And so everyone has a different idea of happiness and peace and things like that. But the way to have true peace, regardless of whatever circumstance you're walking through, is by trusting Jesus, right? Because if you are leaving everything in your life up to you, right? It's up to me if my business passes inspection. It's up to me. I mean, yeah, it is. Like, I have to do the work to make sure it passes. It's up to me to find kids to come to my business. It's up to me to make sure that we have food on the table. All of that is true. To make sure you have finances. All of it's true. I have some sort of responsibility in the steps that are going to create security in my life. But for the things I can't control, I can't control when the first child enrolls into my program. I can't control if I get to open on opening day. So I have a date in mind, but I can't control if licensing comes and passes me or not. I can do everything in my power. So how do I have peace with things I can't control? It's just fixing your eyes on Jesus. Jesus isn't going to let you down. If it's meant for you, it'll be there for you. If you're called to do it, right? I always hear like God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And it's so true. So true. Joyce Meyer, I was listening to Joyce Meyer. If you don't know who she is, she's a big preacher and author. She has like over 100 and something books, maybe more than that. And she was talking about how her life story and how she didn't go to school. She wanted to go to school, or her teachers thought she should go to school for English because she was such a good writer. But because of the circumstances of her life, she didn't go to college. She is a paid speaker and writer, right? Like, God called her to do that. So whatever brings you peace and whatever is meant for you, step up and do what's meant for you. And just remember, Isaiah 26:12 says, you keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is staying on you because he trusts you. So if your mind is staying on Jesus, if your mind is fixed, other words are fixed. There's like lots of versions of the Bible. If your mind is fixed on Jesus, that's how you have peace. Because think about it. Whenever you think about like, oh, my God is my provider, like he has put me in this season for a reason, you have peace. Whenever you start trying to figure it out yourself, but I don't know if my money is going to come through. For instance, so I had left work, and this is where it seems like, Britt, you were kind of dumb. And I needed access to basically my 401k to help pay for some bills. I wasn't sure when I was going to get access, but I was hoping it'd be like in the 2 weeks after I left work. That was naive. It wasn't in the 2 weeks after I left work. So I was sitting there panicked, thinking like, I can't access this money. Money is dwindling out of my account because of what? It was back to school time. Right on time, I got access. Right on time. Like I said last video, I got a call saying I'm getting back pay for 9 years of paying for life insurance that I opted out of. So I'm getting back pay for that. And I got access to my account at that time. And my account that I have access to has more in it than I thought. Like, I did some calculations of what it should have been. It's more. So like, just trust. All right. So the big idea, we're walking on Wednesday, is that we're gonna secure our peace by also knowing if there's a person or if there are people who disrupt your peace, disrupt your purpose, who make you question yourself. We have those who are really logical, right? And we have some of us who are a little like me, a little more flowy, a little more spiritual, a little bit more like, what does life have to offer? Keep those people in your life when you're making those big decisions. And sometimes it's okay to keep those big decisions to yourself. 2, fix your eyes on Jesus, right? That's the only way you're going to have peace. You can't control every outcome. Even if you are starting a business, or you are going to school, or you are planning a wedding, you can only do what you can, and you have to leave the rest to God, which is why God is so cool, because there's nothing in life that you can do solely on your own. I mean, you can take a shower on your own. That's fine. But like, if you think about the big things, you could plan a wedding, and you can plan a beautiful outdoor wedding, pick the perfect date, and it could still rain. You gotta trust God. You could plan a business, pray that it opens, and you could pass inspection and nobody shows up. God's got you though. So it's like he's like falling asleep. If you keep your mind fixed, if you stay on Jesus, that's how you have peace, because you know he only has good for your life, right? Like he has good in store for your life. Bad things happen. We live in a broken world, yada, 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 but he has a good plan for your life. So keep your eyes fixed. Keep your eyes fixed. Okay, I gotta go because he's falling asleep again, and really he has to wake up or else he's not gonna sleep tonight. But I love you all. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Tomorrow the podcast is back, so make sure you're following the podcast on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. That is going to be linked in the description, all the ways you can follow me. I love you. Be blessed. Stay fixed. It's a nice open beach because it rained, and now the sand is cold. There's a rainbow. It's a nice open beach because it